Okay, this is a day 28 supplemental video.
Supplemental
video. We're sitting on the boat. We just posted kind of Hurricane Sally aftermath video. We're going to answer some questions that we received. We don't know who we received them from. Our daughter we received them from, but we don't know if they're just 20 questions that she wants us to answer or whether or not they're 20 questions that her and her friends want to know. So we'll answer those. All right. So what's question number one?
Why do you guys want to do this trip? Has it always been in your life plan, or did you just decide to do it?
Who wants to take the first one?
Well, I feel like I never knew anything about the Great Loop, what this was all about. Bob, you're the one that introduced this to me.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly where I heard about the Great Loop. It was probably 5 to 7 years ago. We had just moved up from a small 32-foot boat into the 40-foot range where doing the Great Loop became kind of feasible for us. And boating had always been part of our family. I won my first boat at the age of 22 or 23, I think.
No.
24.
Maybe like 26.
Okay.
Because I graduated college.
You were already working? All right, whatever. I won my first boat. It was a small tri-hull with a 60-horse Evinrude that was just falling apart. We had a great time on it, but that sank the hook. We didn't almost die.
Yes, we almost died on it.
Anyway, that sank the hook into us for boating, and we progressively went from a 18-foot boat to a 48-foot boat over 25 years. So I found out about the Great Loop. It looked super interesting to me, and I've always talked about it, and Heather, being the good sport she is, said, yeah, that would be fun to do someday. So we're chasing that dream. Okay.
Do you think it's easier to do this trip without your kids?
Yes. Yes. They would be bored shit.
Right, but I also think it depends on if you're talking about our specific kids. Ashley and Spencer, I think, would be bored on this.
Yeah.
Maybe if you had little kids and they didn't know any better, and you wanted to homeschool them, then maybe.
It can still be boring. I mean, parts of the Great Loop are fabulous. And it depends where you are used to boating. People that start the Great Loop in Florida and have been boating in Florida all their lives don't find Florida new and exciting.
Well, it's just like
intercoastal.
Us.
We've been boating on the rivers.
The river system, it was.
We've been boating on it for 25 years. It's been boring for us. But the East Coast and the Great Lakes will be fascinating. It'll all be new. And so, like Mobile, I'm fascinated with this. This is all new to us. But kids on the Great Loop, I mean, it does take a special kind of person to be able to be on a boat for long periods at a time and be interested in the history of an area. So I think it's easier to do without kids unless they're absolutely motivated and committed to doing it. We had a yellow lab up until March. Nala was a part of the family. She got cancer and died very, very quickly.
She was
coming on this loop, and now that we don't have her, I don't know how we could have done it.
It would have been terrible.
It would have been, no marital bliss, period, zero, none. Because I would have had to launch the dinghy. I would have had to drive her ass into shore to do her business. Heather would have had to stay on the boat. We'd had to anchor every time. It would have just been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
I miss her tremendously. But I think it was a blessing in disguise that she got sick when
we couldn't have done this. So anyway, all right.
Okay. So this is a good question. What exactly is the Great Loop, and how long does it take?
So I showed it a little bit in a previous video. I think when we were in Grafton, I showed a picture of the Great Loop. The Great Loop is a circumnavigation of the eastern half of the United States on the river and intercoastal waterway system. So people generally do it over a 1-year period. It's called chasing summer. So you leave on the river system in the Midwest in the fall. You get down to Mobile after hurricane season on 1 November. And then you spend the winter in Florida exploring the Keys and the intercoastal waterway, and people take side trips to the Bahamas. You go up the East Coast in the spring and early summer, and you do the Great Lakes in the summer, and you come back out through Chicago and the Illinois River the following fall, and then you complete your loop. Some people spend years doing the loop, or will do it multiple times, because there are so many side trips to be able to take and areas of the country to explore. But most people who are committed to doing the loop do it in a 1-year fashion, or they'll do it in segments. People will do a month at a time, and then they'll leave and go work or fly, store the boat, and they will just do it in segments. The people that we're friends with here that we've met doing the loop, they're on their 3rd year. They had an accident last year on their boat and it had to get repaired over the winter. And then life happened to them after the 1st year, and they had to leave the boat for the winter. So, it runs the gamut how long it takes. But it's a circumnavigation of the eastern half of the United States using the river and intercoastal system and the Great Lakes.
All right. How are you able to take off of work to be able to do this?
So Heather, she's retired.
For about 1.5 years now.
And I left the military after 30 years, and I worked in corporate America for about 2 years, 8 months. And I was a vice president level in HR for Cargill Corporation. We decided to, spend more quality time together, and I took a job as a federal contractor for the Department of Defense, and I primarily work remote and travel a period of time. COVID has impacted our travel as a team. I've got a team of 5 other guys that work with me, and it has impacted our travel, training military and Army units. So I've had a window of 6 to 7 weeks where I haven't had any travel commitments, but I do log into my work computer and still hold team meetings and work remotely, which is a benefit of this job. So,
okay.
Next question.
Next question. If you had to do it all over again, would you do anything different? I would.
What would you do?
I would have not left this time because of hurricane season, or at least not get down here, or left earlier. But we still would have been in hurricane season. The reason we didn't leave, we were going to leave in June, but there was a lock and dam that was closed for repairs
For 6 weeks.
Month of July.
July and 2 weeks of August.
That they were repairing on the 10 Tom.
So you would have left later.
Well, yeah. I think I would have left maybe Labor Day and get down here when hurricane season was ending. That's what I would do different. What would you do different?
I would have installed AIS on the boat. AIS is Automatic Identification System. It's a module that plugs into your electronic systems, and it broadcasts your position over radio waves, and you can receive broadcasts from other ships that have it installed to know where they are on your charts. That would have been helpful. On the river system, it would be helpful to know what other boats are around you. If money wasn't an object, I would have updated all of our electronics. I would like to have put current electronics on this boat. All of our electronics function, and it's fine. But it would have been nice I would like to, if we keep this boat, I would love to update the electronics. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but the techie side of me would love to have new electronics on the boat. But it would be a $20,000 upgrade, and I need to first get out from underneath these props and make sure everything's good there. What else would I have done? I don't know that I would have brought the dinghy on this leg.
Yeah, because we've used it twice, maybe, at
and
Green
we've
Turtle
just
Bay.
messing around on it. I don't know that I would have taken the extra weight and brought the dinghy. I haven't seen a need for it yet. I think down in the Keys, you would want it. I think in the Bahamas, you would want it.
And we're going to be in Fort
But
Myers.
right, and we could have installed, brought the dinghy down and put it on in Fort Myers. I would not have included the dinghy on the trip. It would have been nice to not have that weight and have the swim platform available to us the whole time. So probably would not have done that. Anything else? I think I would have varied our menu a little bit. We're eating sandwiches and homemade pizza, and so it's.
What would you like? We provision, and I ask you what you want, and you're like, whatever. So,
well,
and now you're telling everybody that you would want to change the menu.
No, I would probably do something a little different. I don't know what it would be. I mean, I wish our boat didn't have an electric grill. You can't use it in the rain. It doesn't cook food. I mean, I don't mind the food that much, but Heather doesn't like the food on it. I think as we go forward, once we get to Florida, I'm going to have to figure out how to put a grill, an actual grill on the boat, propane grill. They make those, and I'll figure out how to do that. It'll give us a little bit more variety in being able to cook things. So that's what I would do different.
Okay, that's a lot of things different. That was a long answer.
All
right, next question. Is this your first boat?
No. This is the boat I won, the boat I traded that in for, the Four Winds Sundowner, the Four Winds 258 Vista.
And we had a Larson in there.
Oh, and we had So the boat I won, the boat we traded in for, the piece of crap Larson runabout we bought, that was junk. The Four Winds 190 Vista, the Four Winds 258 Vista, the Four Winds 318 Vista, the Four Winds 378 Vista, and then the Tierra. So we've had eight boats in our lives.
And a dinghy.
I recommend, for anybody that thinks they want to get into boating, buy the biggest boat you can afford. And don't get 3-foot itis. It's a terrible disease, and it costs a lot of money. But we've loved all our boats. They've all been great for us at the time.
Yep. Okay, how did you come up with the name of your boat/channel? Were there other options?
Well, there's always other options.
There are other options.
We've got limited creativity. Not too shabby. We were messing around trying to figure out how to name our 318 Vista. It was our first kind of big boat that had a generator and 2 engines, and we had kind of moved into that cruising class boat. And we were sitting around on the beach having a drink. Kids were playing in the sand, in the water, and we were trying to come up with names of a boat, and we were playing around with the initials of our names.
Yeah.
So Shabby is spelled Shabi, and that's for Spencer, our son, Heather, Ashley, our daughter, my name is Bob, and our last name is Interest, Shabi. And so we were playing around, and then I just said, hey, that's not too shabby, and it stuck, and that's our last 3 boats have been named Not Too Shabby. And then we named the YouTube channel Life's Not Too Shabby to highlight the fact, we started this YouTube channel right after Heather got sick, or right before Heather got sick, and we focused on quality time, and time's the most important thing in life. So, finding the positive linings in everything is what we're trying to do. So.
All right, next question. Where do you plan on going with the boat when you get it to Florida? Any dream destinations?
Bahamas, for me.
Your dream destination?
Bahamas.
Okay.
Where's yours? You gotta answer
Bahamas,
these too.
but I'm looking at the first part of the question is where are we going to go with the boat when we get it to Florida? I mean, we're talking about going to the Keys, spending time Sanibel Island.
Yeah.
Just
exploring the West Coast,
right.
Key West, Florida Keys, exploring that.
I think the
Bahamas would be a fabulous trip to take. Yeah, those are my dream destinations. I've always wanted to boat in the tropics.
Okay. When do you plan on completing the Great Loop, aka crossing your wake? don't think we have any idea when that's going to happen.
Within 2 years. I think within 2 years we'll cross our wake. I don't know that next spring we'll head up the East Coast. We'll see what goes on.
I feel like we have not spent a whole lot of time in our new house though either.
Yeah.
We're always running back and forth, going back to Minnesota for various reasons, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So, I think sometime within the next 2 years, we'll probably do it in segments, and figure that out. But I mean, if we could figure out how to get from Chicago back down to Florida without having to go through the river system again,
'cause I'm not looking forward to
I don't
doing
want to
that
do it.
all
Oh
over
my
again.
God!
I don't think there is a way.
From Chicago
We'll just have
to here.
Turn around and
Oh
go back
my
the other way.
God! It was mind-numbingly boring for us. So, all right.
All right, which is more of a setback? Breaking the props or Hurricane Sally?
Breaking the props. Breaking the props.
Yeah. Breaking the props. We're stuck here right now in Mobile because this is the only place that can fix the props. So that's why we are here with the hurricane. But I don't know if we didn't break the props and we
Pushed
were in
out
the
of here, and we were in the
we could have
Panhandle.
been really screwed because
Yeah.
that's where it hit. So
Everything
I don't
happens
know.
for a reason.
Right? Maybe there's
Prop-
a reason why we
Right. Props
hit
were
the
a bigger
log.
setback, I think, both financially and just time. Time. We had to limp along for 2.5 days, and just feeling powerless, not being able to have the option to get up and go if we need to. So I think props were a bigger setback than Sally. Obviously, we weathered Sally. The boat came through
we
unscathed.
lucked out.
Now, if that had changed at all, we would have said Sally. So, we were very blessed, and I feel super bad for the people in the Panhandle that lost boats and property and lives and, all of that. So, but for us, I think the props were a bigger setback.
Could there have been any way you could have avoided Hurricane Sally? I don't know. With our props broken, I don't think there were.
Yeah, we could have, friends of ours saw that they predicted correctly that Sally was going to turn into a hurricane. It was really just a tropical depression sitting east of the Florida Keys, and they slowed way up and actually turned back around and went to Demopolis, Alabama, and are staying there for the duration of Sally. We didn't. I didn't anticipate that would become a hurricane and hit right where we were going. I thought it might become a hurricane, but I didn't. I did
Well,
not.
we even talked to the locals down here. When we
Yeah,
got here,
they were like,
thinking that's
it's going to be nothing. No one's worried about it. Now, thankfully, it didn't hit Mobile all that bad, but it hit the area bad, and so could we have avoided it? Sure. I think with greater experience and greater ocean experience and living in the hurricane zone, we would have had more respect and more foresight to not chance it. But we didn't know that, and honestly, because of our props, we got to where we got to, so it just turned out.
Next question. If you had to do it all over again, did I ever say this?
Yeah.
Did we answer this
Yeah.
question?
Remember, it was food and.
Oh yes, you're right. I was thinking I accidentally skipped that one. What has been your favorite stop so far? I guess. Okay, this wasn't a stop because we didn't stop there, but the best part of the trip for me so far is seeing the arch in St. Louis. I think that was
That was your highlight?
my highlight. But if you're talking about stopping somewhere, I'd have to say Green Turtle Bay, because that's really the only place that we have stopped for a long period of time
Yeah, but just like any night that we stopped.
Probably Green Turtle Bay.
Yeah. The arch was definitely the thing that I was most excited to see. It was really cool. I loved seeing that. I got super excited in Mobile when we started getting in the ocean and saltwater. It was really, really fascinating to go boat through downtown Mobile and see the Navy shipyard and that.
I wish there was a cruise ship terminal. It would have been neat to see be going by a cruise ship, but they're not in port.
The one thing I have to say is everywhere we have stopped, the people have been fabulous.
Extremely nice.
Oh my God!
And it doesn't matter if you're at a resort,
yep,
or if you're just tied
at
up
Bobby's
to
Fish Camp,
right, or at Hoppy's tied up to a barge. I mean,
everybody has
nice.
been absolutely fabulous. The people here in Mobile, unbelievable. The hospitality and the generosity they've extended.
I think part of that, though, is it's part of a
boating culture.
Community. Yeah.
It's the boating culture. You know, everybody with a boat, you take care of each other, and you know, we were all helping each other tie lines, and I do love that about boating. The boating community is. It doesn't matter what your financial status in life is. Where
no one knows.
No one. I mean
no one knows
people make assumptions based on the boats you have, but the guy next to me's got a 40-year-old wooden boat, and he's a retired OB doc. You know, he's certainly fine financially, but no one judges anybody. It's just this great tight-knit community that it's second to none. I love it.
So we're back to hurricanes again. Was there any way that we could have avoided Hurricane Sally?
Nope.
No, not because we didn't have props.
We didn't have props. Even if we did have props, we couldn't limp along fast enough to get out of the way of it. So as soon as we had committed to leaving Demopolis and coming south, we were committed to being wherever Sally ended up being. So there was no avoiding her for us. We would have had to have stayed at Demopolis. That was the decision point. Yeah.
But I didn't want to sit there.
And they weren't going to pull our boat, and they couldn't help us.
Well, they could pull our boat, but they won't be able to fix it.
And at that time, Hurricane Sally at that time was just a depression sitting over the Keys, causing rainstorms. So we didn't think anything of it. So no avoiding it.
All right. Last question. What has been your favorite memory of the trip so far? Favorite memory. I don't know why this pops in my head, but I think it's the first Anchorage where we were so nervous and we were afraid that we were going to run into the rocks behind us.
Yeah, near Cairo, Illinois.
Yeah.
What was the name of that anchorage?
It's on the tip of my
Big
tongue.
Bend? No. Ben.
Oh my gosh, it's on the... I can't remember. Something with a B.
For me, my favorite memory so far, it's the people. I have thoroughly enjoyed meeting everybody on this trip that we've met. Every harbor master, every person that we've met. I've really enjoyed Chris and Pat coming to drive and see us. That's been fun. I've enjoyed playing cribbage. Spending time on... Just Heather and I have pretty good conversations and spend time on the boat together. We both enjoy it, so that part of it's fun. We certainly have gotten working together better on the boat. We can anticipate what each other are doing, and
I'm always like, okay, what's the plan? I need to talk about it before we do it, because you like to change your mind in the middle of a plan.
That's why we have marriage savers.
Right.
But so for us, it's not been bad. It hasn't been. There's been some arguments, and we've gotten frustrated with each other, but overall, it's still been good. So it's been a great trip so far. So we're happy to answer any questions that anybody has. Thank you, Ashley, for sending all those, and we'll post this supplemental Q&A today. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. So One thing I have to add. So when we were talking about all the boats we had, we added the Larson. Our best friends have a Larson. I know you love your Larson. We had a really bad experience with our Larson.
I think we had a Lemon.
We did have a Lemon. It had problems. It had a lot of problems.
And we would go over like calm water, and things were rattling and falling apart
on
inside.
it. So we didn't have a great experience with our Larson. I'm not saying all Larsons are crappy boats. We had a Lemon, and the dealership that sold it to us were not good at following up and fixing items, and we sold that boat pretty quick. So our experience with the Larson was not good. But Jason and Chandra, I like
awesome
your Larson was better than ours.
A lot.
All right, talk to you later.